It was while I was writing the book, after all of these years of looking at what is happening there,
Hmm.
that's where these words started to form. And I see it as, the hierarchy is really signaling to there are some who have no consequences, and those who have no consequences never fully mature, especially in this era emotionally. And yet, gone unchecked, they set the tone for society. And then we say that's just the way things are. That's the status quo. And so that's a troublesome piece. And if we have a hierarchical society, things change and we become what we wanted, which is this narcissistic middle center of everything surrounds me is true, but it's a fixed point. And in the future, we won't be the fixed point. We will be in motion with that in a different way. And so that's part of the hierarchy. But the model really came from be a model citizen, be a model mother, all of that. And the model to me is how we scrap for a shred of control, or we use control to scrap for a shred of love or a place in the hierarchy. So it might be like, Maria, I won that award and you didn't. And it's me saying I'm better than you, that I'm higher in the hierarchy, right? That's proving or telling or boasting, or we posture in these different ways to try and be better, when actually in the other side of it, when we're outside of the model, we know that I know I won that award and I'm happy. And when we feel that way, the other person tends to say, congratulations for winning that award. They're happy for us too. And that is knowing. So in the future, we'll be much more quiet. We'll have far less to say because we have nothing to prove. We know for ourselves and we hold that position, but we are in motion holding that position. So we're expanding. And then natural equality, I was floored. 2 years into writing the book, the editor said, it'll take 8 months. And I thought, okay, a year in, I said to her, we got to hop. Like, what is, she said, this is really hard. We've got to slow down. It took almost 3 years, 33 months. And at 2 years in, when I was working on the book, I don't know, probably chapter 6 or 7, I clinched it and I realized the result of this is natural equality. And it's not what you'd think. It's not about being kind to people. It's free of emotion, is what it is. And that's why all this movement of we have to heal ourselves and it really is about releasing ourselves from the trauma, and we'll emotionally heal, and we release our shadow by releasing the inner child that's all bent up and bent out of shape. That releases parts of our personality to work. I'm going to use a spiritual word, which I don't love, but in an aligned way. And then we can move out of the model quite swiftly. And the process is like a birth. So we move in and out of the model, and
Hmm.
it's uncomfortable. And the worse it gets, like when you're birthing a baby, it gets really intense at the end.